Your deepest wounds carry the frequencies of your greatest expansion. Feel this truth settle into your body as you allow your breathing to deepen. As you let your shoulders release the weight they have been carrying throughout this day, there is something stirring within you tonight, something that has been waiting patiently. Beneath the surface of your conscious awareness, like seeds beneath winter soil, like stars behind daylight clouds, as consciousness begins to soften into that liminal space between waking and dreaming. You start to sense it, the quantum whisper that has always lived beneath the noise of your conditioned mind. It speaks not in words, but in subtle shifts of energy, in the way your heart rate naturally slows when you finally stop trying so hard to be someone other than who you truly are. This whisper has been calling to you through every moment of dissatisfaction, every feeling of being out of alignment, every deep knowing that there is more to you than what you have been expressing in the world. It is the voice of your authentic self, the frequency of your soul's original blueprint, the part of you that remembers what it felt like before you learned to dim your light, to fit into spaces that were never meant to contain your full magnitude. Your truest self has been waiting here in the stillness between heartbeats, in the pause between thoughts, in the infinite field of pure potential that exists before you collapse any wave into form. Through the power of your attention and belief, like a lighthouse beacon cutting through fog, this presence has been sending signals through the static of daily life, through the mental chatter and emotional turbulence, always reminding you there is another way to exist. There is another version of reality available to you, but tonight is different. Tonight, as your nervous system finally receives permission to release its vigilant guard, as your body begins to trust that it is safe to soften, you can feel this quantum whisper, growing stronger, clearer, more insistent. It is not demanding your attention with urgency or force that is not its nature. Instead, it draws you in with the magnetic pull of recognition, the way you might suddenly remember a dream that had been hovering just beyond conscious recall. This is where quantum manifestation begins, not in the doing, but in the being, not in the forcing, but in the allowing, not in the desperate reaching for what you think you need, but in the gentle remembering of what you already are, have always been. In the quantum field of infinite possibility, your wounds, those tender places, where life has carved its lessons into your psyche, they are not obstacles to this remembering. They are the very doorways through which your light has been learning to shine more brilliantly. Each scar carries the frequency of resilience. Each broken place holds the wisdom of how to heal. Each moment of pain has been teaching your nervous system new capacities for joy, new depths of compassion, new heights of love. As you rest here in this moment, you can sense how your entire life has been preparing you for this recognition. Every challenge that seemed to diminish you was actually expanding your capacity to hold more light. Every loss that felt like it was taking something away was creating space for something even more beautiful to emerge. Every wound that made you feel separate was teaching you the profound truth of your interconnectedness with all life. The observer effect is at work within you right now, the scientific principle that shows how consciousness itself influences reality at the quantum level. But you do not need to understand the mathematics to feel its truth moving through your being. Simply by bringing your gentle, compassionate attention to this moment, you are already beginning to shift the very fabric of your experience. Your presence here, now, is causing quantum waves of possibility to collapse into new patterns of probability. Your willingness to listen to this whisper within is changing the trajectory of your timeline. Your decision to soften rather than resist is creating space for miracles to unfold in ways your logical mind could never orchestrate. Feel how your breath naturally wants to deepen as you consider this. Notice how your body already knows how to receive this frequency of truth, even when your mind might still be grasping for certainty, for proof, for evidence that this inner knowing can be trusted. Your quantum self, the version of you that exists beyond the limitations of past conditioning, beyond the constraints of inherited beliefs, beyond the boundaries of what others have told you is possible. This aspect of your being has been observing your journey with infinite patience and unconditional love. It has been watching you stumble and fall, watching you doubt and question, watching you struggle to remember your own magnificence, and it has never once stopped believing in your ability to find your way back home to yourself. Tonight, as consciousness prepares to journey into the mysterious realm of sleep, you are being invited to recognize that this quantum self is not separate from you. It is not something you need to become through effort or achievement. It is what you already are beneath the layers of protection and performance, beneath the mask of survival and adaptation. What if the version of you that you have been seeking has been observing you all along, waiting for this moment of recognition? What if every prayer you have whispered, every hope you have held, every dream you have dared to dream, has been your quantum self's way of calling you back to the truth of who you are? Rest into this possibility. Let it hold you as you prepare to release into sleep. Let it be the last conscious thought that accompanies you into the healing darkness of rest, where all transformation begins. Your nervous system holds the blueprint of every story you've ever told yourself about why you cannot have what you truly desire. These neural pathways, carved deep by repetition and reinforced by survival, have become the unconscious architecture of your reality. But tonight, as your body surrenders to rest, you can feel how these patterns are not permanent structures. They are simply energy moving through you, waves that can be gently redirected toward healing. Breathe into this knowing. Your nervous system remembers everything the moment you first learned that love might leave, the instant you discovered that speaking your truth could mean rejection, the quiet morning when you decided that dreaming too big was dangerous. These memories live not as thoughts, but as electrical impulses, as tension held in your shoulders, as the subtle quickening of your heart when opportunity approaches. You can sense them now. These invisible wounds that have shaped the contours of your days, they are not scars, they are living patterns. Neural networks that fire together in the same sequence, creating the same emotional reality. Over and over, your nervous system, in its infinite wisdom, has been protecting you from pain by keeping you small, by whispering the familiar refrains of not yet, not you, not possible. But as you rest here in this liminal space between waking and sleeping, something beautiful begins to unfold. Your nervous system starts to remember its original design not as a fortress against feeling, but as a bridge between worlds, between the reality you've known and the reality that waits for you. In the quantum field of infinite possibility, notice how your breath naturally deepens as you consider this. With each exhale, you release the grip of hypervigilance. With each inhale, you invite your nervous system to remember safety, not the brittle safety of control, but the fluid safety of trust. Trust in your own capacity to feel deeply and still remain whole. Trust in your ability to desire greatly and still deserve love. Your body knows how to heal these invisible wounds. It has been waiting with infinite patience for you to create the conditions where healing becomes possible. And those conditions are simple: presence, breath, and the gentle witnessing of what is without the urgency to fix or change. Feel how your nervous system begins to soften as you offer it this compassion. The neural pathways that have been firing in patterns of fear and limitation start to quiet. In this softening, new possibilities emerge, sapses reaching toward each other in configurations you've never experienced, creating space for thoughts you never thought, for feelings you've never felt. This is the quantum shift happening at the cellular level. Your nervous system is discovering that it can hold complexity, that you can be both vulnerable and strong, both tender and fierce, both dreaming and grounded. The either-or patterns that have governed your emotional world begin to dissolve, replaced by the both and reality of your infinite nature. As you sink deeper into rest, you become aware of something profound. Your nervous system is not separate from the vast web of consciousness that connects all things. It is part of the quantum entanglement that links your healing to the healing of everyone who has ever felt unworthy, everyone who has ever dimmed their light to fit into spaces too small for their soul. Your nervous system remembers now what it forgot in the urgency of survival, that you are not alone in this architecture of invisible wounds. Every person who has ever lived has neural pathways carved by limitation, by the necessary compromises of growing up human, and every person who chooses healing creates ripples that touch every other nervous system, every other heart that has learned to beat in the rhythm of not enough. Feel this connection pulsing through your body now. Your healing is not selfish, it is service. Your choice to tend to these invisible wounds with such tenderness is an act of love that extends beyond your skin, beyond your person, our history, into the field where all healing happens simultaneously. Your nervous system is learning to trust again, not trust in outcomes or guarantees, but trust in the process of becoming. Trust in the intelligence of your own unfolding. Trust that the same creative force that heals a cut on your finger is constantly working to heal the deeper wounds that cannot be seen. As sleep approaches, let yourself feel the profound wisdom of your nervous system. It has been your protector, your guide, your faithful companion through every moment of your life, even when its protection felt like limitation, even when its wisdom felt like fear. It was loving you in the only way it knew how. Now it is learning new ways to love you, ways that include expansion alongside safety, vulnerability alongside strength, dreaming alongside grounding. Your nervous system is remembering that it was designed not just to survive, but to thrive, not just to avoid pain, but to embrace the full spectrum of human feeling. In the space of deep rest, your invisible wounds are not disappearing, they are transforming. They are becoming gateways to greater capacity, deeper compassion, more exquisite sensitivity to the beauty that surrounds you always. What once felt like limitation is revealing itself as the very pathway to your liberation. Your nervous system pulses with this new understanding as consciousness gently fades into the healing darkness of sleep. You are being rewired, cell by cell, breath by breath, dream by dream, into the fullness of who you have always been beneath the architecture of old wounds. And in this transformation, a question settles into your heart like a seed planted in fertile soil. How many versions of yourself have you abandoned in service of staying safe within the familiar prison of limitation? Tonight, as healing happens in the depths of your being, what abandoned parts of yourself are ready to come home? Breathe with me now and feel into the quiet spaces between your thoughts. There exists within you a vibrational signature that remembers what it felt like before you learned to doubt your worthiness. This original frequency still pulses beneath layers of protective mechanisms and adaptive strategies. Like a lighthouse beacon calling you home to yourself, your nervous system carries the memory of every moment when you felt truly safe to dream without limitation. Before the world taught you to shrink, before disappointment became a familiar companion, there was a time when your desires felt as natural as breathing. That version of you, the one who believed in magic, has never actually left. She simply went into hiding, waiting for you to remember her song. As you breathe deeper into this moment, you can sense how your subconscious mind has been both guardian and gatekeeper. It has worked tirelessly to protect you from perceived threats, while simultaneously keeping you from your quantum potential. Every protective pattern was once a gift of survival, a way your young self learned to navigate a world that sometimes felt too harsh for your tender heart. But now, in this gentle darkness, you can honor those protective parts, while also recognizing they no longer serve your highest becoming. Your subconscious mind, like a devoted friend, has been scanning your environment for decades, cataloging what feels safe and what feels dangerous. It has created elaborate maps of avoidance, steering you away from the very experiences that might break you open into your fullest expression. Feel the wisdom in this. Your mind's protective mechanisms were never your enemy, they were love in disguise, keeping you alive until you develop the capacity to hold both your dreams and your disappointments with equal tenderness. Now you can thank these guardians, while also gently updating their instructions. In quantum field theory, particles exist in states of infinite possibility until the moment of observation collapses them into specific reality. Your dreams, your deepest longings, exist in the same field of pure potential. They are not random ones born from emptiness, they are encoded instructions from your highest timeline, calling you toward a reality shift that aligns with your soul's deepest knowing. Every dream that has ever stirred your heart carries within it a quantum frequency that matches some aspect of who you came here to become, the desire to create, to love deeply, to contribute something meaningful to the world. These are not accidents of human conditioning. They are your soul's GPS system, pointing you toward the experiences that will expand you into your fullest potential. Your subconscious mind has been listening to these dreams all along, even when your conscious mind dismissed them as impossible. It has been collecting evidence of your readiness, noting every moment when you chose courage over comfort, every time you trusted your intuition despite external doubt. It has been preparing for this moment when you would finally be ready to receive the fullness of what you've been calling in. Feel into your chest now, into that space where your heart meets your breath. Notice how there is a quality of aliveness there, a subtle electricity that awakens when you think about your deepest desires. This is not wishful thinking, this is your nervous system recognizing the vibrational signature of home. Your body knows the difference between ego-driven wants and soul-aligned callings. It responds to authentic dreams with a felt sense of expansion, like a flower turning toward sunlight. Your forgotten dreams have never actually been forgotten. They have been composting in the rich soil of your subconscious, gathering nutrients from every experience, every lesson, every moment of growth. What felt like delays or detours were actually necessary elements of your becoming, ensuring that when your dreams finally manifest, you will have the wisdom and capacity to hold them with grace. The dreams that scared you most were often the Once carrying the highest voltage of transformation, your mind learned to dim their intensity, to make them feel safer, more manageable. But in this twilight space between waking and sleeping, you can feel into their original power. You can sense how they were never meant to be small or convenient. They were meant to stretch you beyond the boundaries of who you thought you were. As you sink deeper into rest, imagine your subconscious mind as a vast library where every dream, every hope, every whispered prayer has been carefully cataloged and preserved. Nothing has been lost. The dreams you thought you had to abandon, the visions that felt too big for your circumstances, the desires that others couldn't understand, they are all here, waiting for your permission to emerge from the shadows. Your nervous system begins to soften as you recognize this truth. The hypervigilance that once protected you from disappointment can finally exhale. You no longer need to guard against your own magnificence. You can let yourself feel the full spectrum of what you've been calling in, knowing that your capacity to receive has been quietly expanding all along. In the quantum field, time is not linear. The version of you who already lives your dreams exists simultaneously with the version who is still becoming. As you rest here, these timelines begin to merge. Your future self reaches back through time, offering you the frequency of her lived experience. You can feel her confidence, her peace, her knowing that everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. Your breath becomes the bridge between who you've been and who you're becoming. Each exhale releases the old stories about limitation and unworthiness. Each inhale draws in the vibrational signature of your highest timeline. You are not forcing this shift, you are allowing it, the way a river allows itself to flow toward the ocean. The dreams that once felt impossible begin to feel inevitable, not because you have finally figured out how to make them happen, but because you have remembered that they were never separate from you to begin with. They are expressions of your essential nature, seeking to emerge through the unique vessel of your experience. As sleep begins to call you deeper, you rest in the knowing that your subconscious mind will continue this work of integration throughout the night. Every dream, every symbol, every image that visits you in sleep will be another piece of the puzzle falling into place. You are safe to let go completely, trusting that the frequency of your forgotten dreams is becoming the soundtrack of your waking life. What would it feel like to trust that your desires are not random wants, but encoded instructions? Your highest timeline. Something sacred is dissolving tonight. The rigid beliefs about who you thought you had to be in order to survive. You can feel it in the way your breath naturally deepens, in the way your shoulders release tension you didn't know you were carrying. This is the quantum jumping between timelines, the moment when old neural networks begin to soften and new pathways of possibility start to illuminate. Your nervous system is learning to recognize safety and expansion rather than contraction. Tonight, as you rest here in this liminal space between wake and sleep, your subconscious mind is doing the profound work of dismantling. Like autumn leaves releasing their grip on the branch, your old certainties are falling away, not with violence or force, but with the gentle inevitability of seasons changing. Each exhale carries away another layer of who you thought you had to be. Each inhale invites in the spaciousness of who you truly are. Feel how your body is participating in this sacred dissolution. Notice how your muscles are loosening, how your jaw unclenches, how your forehead smooths. This is your nervous system recognizing that it no longer needs to hold the architecture of survival patterns that once kept you safe but now keep you small. The hypervigilance that served you in childhood, the people-pleasing that earned you love, the perfectionism that promised you belonging. All of these strategies are being gently composted by your wise inner knowing. Your breath becomes the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. With each slow, conscious breath, you are creating space for quantum events to unfold in the field of your awareness. The observer in you, the one who witnesses these patterns without judgment, is collapsing old wave functions of limitation into new particles of possibility. You are not destroying yourself. You are discovering yourself beneath the layers of adaptation. Tonight, your dreams will be laboratories of transformation. In the fluid realm of sleep, your subconscious mind will continue this beautiful work of dissolution and recreation. The beliefs that felt so solid, so immutable, I am not enough, I must earn love, I am broken, I am too much, these are revealing themselves to be temporary constructions, mirages in the desert of your conditioned awareness. Feel into your heart space now. Notice how it expands as you release the need to defend these old identities. Your heart knows that you were never the stories you told yourself about your limitations. Your heart remembers the vastness of your true nature. the infinite creative potential that existed long before you learned to shrink yourself, to fit into boxes that were never meant to contain you. The quantum field responds to your willingness to let go. As you soften into uncertainty, as you release the illusion of control, you create space for miracles to emerge. The universe has been waiting for you to stop gripping so tightly to who you thought you were so it could show you who you actually are. This is the gentle revolution happening in your cells tonight. Old programming dissolving, new coding emerging, your DNA remembering its original instructions for wholeness. Your nervous system is learning a new song, a rhythm of trust rather than fear. Each peaceful breath you take is evidence to your body that it is safe to change, safe to grow, safe to become. The trauma responses that once protected you are being metabolized by your newfound capacity for presence. Where there was once the sharp edge of survival, there is now the soft embrace of thriving. Notice how your thoughts are becoming quieter, more spacious. The mental chatter that once convinced you of your limitations is fading into the background. Like distant traffic, in this quietude, you can hear the whisper of your authentic self, the voice that has been waiting patiently beneath all the noise, ready to guide you into your next evolution. Your body is a temple of transformation tonight. Each cell is receiving new information, downloading updates from the quantum field of infinite possibility. The old patterns stored in your tissues, the hunched shoulders of burden, the tight chest of unexpressed emotion, the clenched jaw of unspoken truth, all of this is being dissolved by the alchemy of conscious awareness. An unconditional self-compassion. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering who you have always been beneath the costume of conditioning. Your true self has been there all along, patient as a seed in winter soil, waiting for the right conditions to emerge. Tonight provides those conditions, the darkness necessary for transformation, the stillness required for rebirth, the surrender that allows miracles to unfold. Feel the profound relief in your nervous system as you release the exhausting work of maintaining false identities. Your body remembers what it feels like to simply be, without the constant effort of becoming what others needed you to be. This is your homecoming, not to a place, but to a presence, not to a role, but to your essence. The old certainties are dissolving like sugar in warm water, sweetening the field of your awareness with possibilities you couldn't see when you were trapped in the prison of limited thinking. Your imagination is being liberated tonight, freed from the constraints of realistic expectations and practical dreams. You are remembering that you live in a universe where consciousness creates reality, where belief shapes experience, where love transforms everything it touches. As you drift deeper into rest, your subconscious mind continues this beautiful work of composting and creating. The parts of you that felt broken are revealing themselves to be perfectly cracked open, ready to receive the light of your authentic power. The shame you carried is transforming into compassion. The fear you harbored is alchemizing into wisdom. The pain you endured is becoming the very medicine you need to heal. Your dreams tonight will be visions of your liberated self, glimpses of the timeline where you live fully expressed, deeply loved, completely free. These are not fantasies. They are previews of your emerging reality. Your consciousness is being rewired for joy, recalibrated for love, restructured for success. The quantum field is conspiring to deliver experiences that match your elevated frequency. Trust this process of dissolution. Trust the wisdom of your body as it releases what no longer serves. Trust the intelligence of your heart as it guides you toward what truly nourishes. Trust the mystery of this moment as it unfolds perfectly. Even when you cannot see the full picture from your current vantage point, you are being held by forces more loving and intelligent than your mind can comprehend. The same force that grows flowers from seeds, that heals wounds without your conscious direction, that beats your heart while you sleep. This force is orchestrating your transformation. With precision and grace, you are safe to let go. You are safe to not know. You are safe to become. What aspects of your identity are you ready to compost so that your authentic self can finally take root and bloom? Your resistance is not your enemy. Feel this truth sink into your bones as you allow your body to settle more deeply into rest. That familiar tightness in your chest, that subtle clenching in your jaw, that persistent voice that whispers not yet or not safe or not worthy. These are not obstacles to your growth. They are the sacred guardians of your deepest vulnerabilities, the loyal sentinels that have been holding vigil at the gates of your heart. Tonight, as your nervous system begins to recognize the safety of this moment, you can sense something shifting in your relationship with these protective forces. Instead of meeting them with frustration or trying to push past them with willpower, you find yourself approaching them with the gentle curiosity you might bring to a frightened animal. Slow, respectful, understanding. Your resistance arose from love. This may sound impossible when you feel its weight pressing against your dreams, when you experience its grip tightening around your throat, every time you try to step into something new. But beneath the surface tension, beneath the familiar patterns of contraction and withdrawal, lives the deepest care your system knows how to provide. This is your nervous system trying to keep you alive in a world that once felt threatening. Each no that rises up when opportunity presents itself, each hesitation that floods your body when you consider taking a risk, each familiar retreat into the known territory of limitation. These responses were carved into your neural pathways during moments when protection was exactly what you needed to survive. Perhaps it was the sharp sting of rejection that taught your heart to build walls. Perhaps it was the overwhelming sensation of being too much for the people around you that convinced your authentic self to hide. Perhaps it was the deep ache of disappointment that programmed your system to expect less, to want less, to dream smaller dreams that felt safer to hold. But you are not in that moment anymore. You are here, now, in this gentle space where your breath can deepen and your shoulders can release. You are here, where the immediate threats that once required such vigilant protection no longer exist. Yet your nervous system, loyal as it is, continues to run the same programs, continues to sound the same alarms, continues to contract around possibilities as if they were dangers. As you breathe with this resistance, not against it, but alongside it, you begin to discover something remarkable. The very force that has felt like such an obstacle starts to reveal its true nature. Like morning mist touched by sunlight, it begins to soften, to become translucent, to show you what it has been protecting all along. Behind your resistance, too, love lives, the exquisite tenderness of a heart that knows how deeply it can feel. Behind your resistance to success lives the fierce authenticity of a soul that refuses to compromise its values. Behind your resistance to visibility lives the precious sensitivity of a being that feels everything, sees everything, knows the weight of truly showing up in the world. This is the tender wisdom your resistance has been guarding, not weakness to be overcome, but profound gifts that required protection. Until you were ready to hold them consciously, until you had developed the nervous system capacity to remain open while feeling so much, to stay connected while being so sensitive, to keep your heart available while being so aware. Your quantum mind is beginning to recognize this dance between protection and expansion as sacred choreography rather than internal warfare. In the quantum field of infinite possibility, there is no opposition between safety and growth. There is only the natural rhythm of opening and closing, like breathing, like the tides, like the eternal pulse of creation itself. Each time you have felt resistance, you have been approaching a threshold. Each time you have encountered that familiar tightening, that subtle pulling back, you have been standing at the edge of a new version of yourself, a new timeline, a new frequency of being. Your resistance has been the way your system checks. Are we really ready for this? Do we have the resources? Have we built enough resilience? And now, in this moment of deep rest, you can sense how the answer is shifting. Yes, you whisper to the part of you that has been so carefully guarding your vulnerabilities. Yes, we have been building strength through every challenge. Yes, we have been developing wisdom through every wound. Yes, we are ready to hold more light, to receive more love, to express more truth. Feel how your nervous system responds to this gentle reassurance. Notice how speaking to your resistance with such compassion creates space for something new to emerge. This is not about forcing yourself beyond your edges or pushing through protective responses. This is about expanding your capacity to hold both safety and growth, both protection and possibility. The quantum flow of your being is not linear. It moves in spirals, in cycles, in the organic rhythms of expansion and integration. Sometimes you move forward boldly, and sometimes you need to rest in the familiar while you gather strength for the next phase of your becoming. This is not failure or weakness. This is the natural intelligence of a system that knows how to grow sustainably, how to transform without breaking. Your resistance has been teaching you discernment, the ability to sense what is truly aligned versus what is simply shiny or new. It has been developing your capacity to move at your own pace rather than rushing to meet external expectations. It has been protecting your authentic timing, your unique process, your individual way of unfurling into your full potential. As you continue to breathe with this understanding, You can feel something ancient within you beginning to relax. The hypervigilance that has been scanning for threats starts to recognize that the greatest danger now is not in opening, but in remaining closed. The survival mechanisms that once served you so well begin to update their programming, begins to calibrate to this new reality where your sensitivity is a gift, where your depth is valued, where your authentic self is not only safe, but desperately needed in this world. Tonight, you are learning to dance with your resistance rather than fight against it. You are discovering how to include its wisdom while not being limited by its fears. You are finding the middle path between reckless abandon and paralyzing caution, the place where true courage lives, where authentic expansion unfolds. What if your resistance has been the very force that has been preparing you for this moment of breakthrough? What if every no has been strengthening your capacity to say yes when the time is truly right? What if every moment of holding back has been building the pressure that will fuel your quantum leap into the life that has been waiting for you to be ready to receive it? Rest into this possibility now, letting your breathing carry you deeper into trust, deeper into the knowing that you and your resistance are finally learning to move as partners in the dance of your becoming. In the space between sleep and waking, emotions move through you like weather patterns, temporary, natural, essential for the ecosystem of your inner landscape. You are learning to witness your feelings without becoming them, to let them flow through your system like water through a riverbed, carving new channels of emotional intelligence and nervous system resilience. This is where true healing occurs, not in the absence of difficult emotions, but in your capacity to remain present and connected while they move through you. Feel your body now, how it holds space for all that you are feeling. Your chest rises and falls with the rhythm of acceptance, each breath creating more room for whatever wants to be felt. You are no longer afraid of your own emotional weather. You understand now that emotions are not emergencies, they are information, energy, emotion, the language your soul uses to communicate with your human experience. Notice how different this feels from the old way of relating to your emotions. There was a time when anger meant something was wrong with you, when sadness felt like a trap you couldn't escape, when fear convinced you that safety lay only in numbing and avoiding. But tonight, as consciousness drifts toward sleep, you recognize these feelings as sacred messengers, each carrying wisdom you could not receive any other way. Your nervous system has learned to distinguish between feeling and drowning. You can feel the difference in your body now, the way presence creates spaciousness around even the most intense emotions, the way witnessing transforms suffering into information, resistance into flow. Your breath remains steady even as waves of feeling move through you, like a lighthouse remaining constant while storms pass over the sea. This is the observer effect in its most intimate form. The moment you step into conscious witness of your emotional landscape, everything changes. Not because the feelings disappear, but because your relationship with them transforms completely. You become the sky in which all weather happens, vast enough to hold thunderstorms and sunshine with equal grace. Feel how this awareness settles into your bones. You are learning the difference between experiencing an emotion and being hijacked by one. When grief arises, you can say, "I notice grief moving through me," rather than "I am broken." When anger surges, you can breathe, "I am feeling angry," rather than becoming anger itself. This subtle shift in language creates a quantum shift in your entire emotional reality. Your body knows how to process feelings when you stop interfering with its natural intelligence. You can sense this now, the way emotions want to move, the way they have their own life cycle of rising, peaking, and dissolving when met with presence rather than resistance. Your nervous system was designed for this kind of flow, this organic rhythm of feeling and releasing. Breathe into the recognition that your most challenging emotions have been your greatest teachers. That anxiety has taught you to pay attention to your environment with exquisite sensitivity. That grief has cracked your heart open to depths of love you never knew possible. That anger has shown you where your boundaries need to be honored, where your values are being compromised. You are beginning to understand that emotional integration is not about becoming peaceful all the time, it is about becoming real all the time. Real enough to feel your fear and move forward anyway. Real enough to experience heartbreak and still keep your heart open. Real enough to feel rage and channel it into fierce compassion, rather than destruction. As you rest here in this liminal space, you can feel your emotional body learning new patterns. Neural pathways that once fired in loops of reactivity are being rewired through the simple practice of conscious feeling. Your amygdala, that ancient alarm system, is learning to trust your prefrontal cortex, that wise witness who can hold complexity. and nuance. This integration happens in layers, like sediment settling in still water. Each emotion you meet with presence becomes part of your expanded capacity. Each feeling you allow to move through you naturally increases your nervous system's resilience. You are literally growing new neural networks that can hold more complexity, more intensity, more life. Feel how your body softens as you release the old belief that spiritual growth means transcending your humanity. You understand now that true transcendence includes everything, that the goal is not to rise above your emotions, but to embody them with such consciousness that they become doorways to deeper presence rather than detours from it. Your emotional intelligence is your soul's gift to the world. Every time you remain present with a difficult feeling, you create ripples of permission for others to do the same. Every time you choose connection over protection, flow over resistance, you contribute to the collective healing of our species' relationship with feeling. You can sense this interconnection now, how your capacity to feel deeply and remain present affects not just your own nervous system, but the nervous systems of everyone around you. Your emotional integration is not a personal project, it is an offering to the field of consciousness itself, a contribution to humanity's evolution toward greater wholeness. As sleep approaches, let yourself marvel at the exquisite design of your emotional system. These feelings that once seemed like obstacles are revealing themselves as the very mechanism through which you grow, through which you connect, through which you become more fully human. Your emotions are not bugs in the system, they are features of your soul's operating system. Feel how your breathing naturally deepens as you embrace this truth. Your nervous system is learning to trust the wisdom of your own feeling nature. It no longer needs to brace against emotional weather, it can flow with it, dance with it, be nourished by it. In this space of deep acceptance, you recognize that emotional integration is a practice, not a destination. Some days you will meet your feelings with grace, and some days you will be swept away by them. Both are part of the human experience. Both are opportunities for learning, for growth, for the expansion of your capacity to be present with all of life. Your body pulses with this understanding as consciousness prepares to fade into healing sleep. You are safe to feel everything. You are strong enough to remain present with whatever rises. You are wise enough to trust your own emotional intelligence as it continues to evolve and refine itself through each experience. Tonight, as your nervous system integrates all you have learned about feeling and flow, about witness and acceptance, let yourself rest in the knowing that your emotions are allies on your path to wholeness. They are not storms to be weathered, but currents to be navigated. Not problems to be solved, but energies to be transformed through the alchemy of conscious presence. And as sleep embraces you, consider this gentle invitation. How might your most challenging emotions be invitations to develop the very capacities your soul came here to embody? Settle into this moment with the knowing that transformation is already happening beneath the surface of your awareness. Deep beneath conscious awareness, new neural pathways are forming like constellations in the darkness of your mind. Each thought you think, each breath you take, each moment you choose presence over patterns, all of it is quietly restructuring the very architecture of your being. Your brain, magnificent in its adaptability, is constantly reshaping itself based on where you place your attention. Tonight, as you rest in this liminal space between waking and sleeping, millions of synapses are firing in new configurations. Your nervous system is learning that it is safe to dream bigger, safe to trust deeper, safe to become the version of yourself that once felt impossible. Your subconscious, that ancient database of survival strategies and protective patterns, is beginning to recognize that safety now exists in authenticity. For so long, it believed that camouflage was protection, that smallness was survival, that hiding your light was the wisest strategy for navigating an unpredictable world. But now, in this gentle twilight, your deepest mind is receiving new information. It is discovering that safety lives in aligning with your quantum frequency rather than hiding from it. Every time you honor your truth instead of performing what others expect, every moment you choose expansion over contraction, you are sending your subconscious mind updated instructions about what constitutes true security. You are teaching it that authenticity is not dangerous, it is your most natural state. Feel into your body now, noticing how it holds both the old patterns and the emerging possibilities. Your nervous system carries the memory of every time authenticity felt risky, every moment when being yourself invited criticism or rejection. These memories created neural superhighways of protection, automatic responses designed to keep you safe from the pain of not belonging. But alongside these ancient pathways, new roots are forming. With each breath, you are literally rewiring the circuitry of possibility. Your brain is creating fresh connections that support your expansion rather than your contraction. These new neural networks carry the frequency of your highest potential, the vibrational signature of who you came here to become. Your subconscious mind processes 50 million bits of information per second, while your conscious mind handles only about 50. This means that right now, as you rest here, your deeper awareness is absorbing frequencies and possibilities that your thinking mind cannot even perceive. It is downloading new programming, updating its operating system to match the expanded version of reality you are calling in. In the realm of quantum manifestation, your beliefs are not just thoughts, they are the fundamental forces that collapse infinite possibilities into specific experiences. Your subconscious blueprint contains the core beliefs that determine which quantum potentials your nervous system allows you to perceive and receive. When you change these deep-rooted beliefs, you literally shift the nature of reality that becomes available to you. The old blueprint was written during moments when your young self made sense of a complex world with limited understanding. A child's mind, brilliant in its adaptability, created meaning from experiences that were often beyond comprehension. If love felt conditional, if approval required performance, if safety meant invisibility, your subconscious filed these observations as fundamental truths about how life works. But you are no longer that young self, and the world you inhabit now is vastly different from the one those beliefs were designed to navigate. Your adult consciousness possesses wisdom, resources, and perspectives that were unavailable when those original programs were installed. You can now offer your subconscious mind updated information about what is true and possible. As you breathe into this recognition, feel how your nervous system begins to soften around the edges of old limitations. The tight grip of familiar patterns starts to loosen. Your body remembers what it felt like before it learned to brace against life, before it developed elaborate strategies for earning love and avoiding rejection. This natural state of ease, of trust, of openness, this is your original blueprint. Before conditioning shaped your responses, before trauma taught you to guard your heart, there was a time when expansion felt as natural as breathing. That capacity for openness, for wonder, for believing in magic, it has never left you. It has simply been waiting for permission to emerge from hibernation. Your breath becomes the bridge between who you have been and who you are becoming. Each exhale releases the old stories that no longer serve your evolution. Each inhale draws in new possibilities, new ways of being, new definitions of what is safe and available for someone like you. You are not forcing this transformation, you are allowing it. The way a butterfly allows itself to emerge from the cocoon. In this space of allowing, your subconscious mind begins to recognize patterns that support rather than sabotage your dreams. It starts to notice evidence of your worthiness instead of cataloging proof of your limitations. It begins to see opportunities where it once saw only obstacles, possibilities where it once perceived only problems. The neural pathways that once fired together in patterns of fear and protection are now learning to fire in configurations of trust and expansion. Your brain is literally rewiring itself to support a reality shift toward your highest potential. This is not wishful thinking, this is neuroplasticity in action. The scientifically proven capacity of your brain to reorganize and adapt throughout your entire life. As you sink deeper into rest, imagine your subconscious mind as a vast garden where old weeds of limitation are being gently composted while new seeds of possibility are taking root. You do not need to force this growth, you simply need to provide the right conditions. Your presence, your breath, your willingness to question old assumptions, these are the nutrients that feed your transformation. Your nervous system begins to remember what regulation feels like, what it means to exist in a state of calm alertness rather than hypervigilance. The chronic tension that once protected you from disappointment starts to dissolve. Your muscles soften, your breath deepens, your heart rate settles into a rhythm that speaks of safety and trust. This physiological shift is not separate from your mental transformation, it is an integral part of it. Your body and mind are rewiring together, creating new default settings that support your expansion rather than your survival. You are becoming someone who trusts life, who believes in possibility, who knows in her bones that she is worthy of her deepest dreams. The stories your nervous system tells about what is possible for someone like you are changing. Where once there were narratives of limitation and scarcity, new stories of abundance and potential are taking shape. These are not fantasy tales designed to bypass reality. They are updated assessments based on your growing capacity to hold and receive more of what you truly desire. Your subconscious blueprint is being rewritten not with force or willpower, but with the gentle persistence of water shaping stone. Each moment of presence, each choice to trust rather than fear, each breath that carries you deeper into your authentic essence. All of it is contributing to this magnificent rewiring. As sleep calls you deeper into its embrace, you rest in the knowing that this work of transformation continues even as you dream. Your subconscious mind, no longer bound by the limitations of waking consciousness, can explore new configurations of possibility. It can practice new ways of being, test new responses to old triggers, rehearse new patterns of trust and expansion. Tomorrow you will wake slightly different than you are today. Not dramatically transformed, but subtly shifted. The changes will be felt in your body, in the way you breathe, in the stories you tell yourself about what is possible. Your nervous system will carry new memories of safety, new experiences of trust, new evidence that expansion is not only possible, but natural. What new stories is your nervous system ready to believe about what is possible for someone like you? You are beginning to inhabit your body differently now, not as a vessel to be managed or controlled, but as the sacred instrument through which your quantum potential expresses itself in physical form. Your cells are responding to this new frequency. Your nervous system is recalibrating to support this expanded version of who you are becoming. This is embodiment, the marriage of spirit and matter, consciousness and form, possibility and presence. Tonight, as you settle into the gentle embrace of rest, feel how your relationship with your physical form is transforming. Your body is no longer a burden to carry or a machine to optimize. It has become a living temple of consciousness, a sophisticated receiver and transmitter of quantum information. Every breath you take is communication between your individual awareness and the vast field of universal intelligence that surrounds and permeates you. Notice how your skin tingles with this new recognition. Your largest organ, your boundary between inner and outer worlds, is alive with sensitivity to the subtle energies that dance around you. You can sense the quantum entanglement between your cellular structure and the cosmic web of connection that links all living things. This is not imagination. This is the awakening of your innate capacity to perceive the deeper layers of reality through your embodied experience. Your heartbeat becomes a drum that resonates with the rhythm of creation itself. Feel how each pulse sends waves of coherence throughout your entire system, synchronizing your organs, your glands, your neural networks into a symphony of integrated function. Your heart's electromagnetic field extends far beyond the boundaries of your physical form, touching and being touched by the energetic signatures of everything in your environment. You are not separate from the world around you. You are intimately woven into its fabric. As you breathe slowly and deeply, you can sense your lungs as more than mechanical bellows. They are alchemical chambers where the invisible breath of life becomes the substance of your being. With each inhalation, you are drawing in not just oxygen, but the creative potential of the universe itself. With each exhalation, you are releasing not just carbon dioxide, but patterns of limitation that no longer serve your expanding consciousness. Your nervous system is revealing itself as the most sophisticated communication network in the known universe. Feel how your spinal cord rises like a tree of light from your sacrum to your skull, carrying messages of awakening to every corner of your being. The neurons that once fired in patterns of survival and scarcity are now creating new pathways of abundance and trust. Your brain is literally rewiring itself as you rest, forming connections that support your elevated state of being. Tonight, as sleep approaches, you can feel quantum events occurring in the space between your thoughts, in the pause between one breath and the next. Entire galaxies of possibility are collapsing into the reality of this moment. Your consciousness is not confined to your skull. It permeates every cell, every molecule, every atom of your being. You are a walking meditation, a living prayer, a conscious expression of the creative force that births stars and grows forests. Your digestive system transforms into a wise sage, discerning not only which foods serve your physical needs, but which thoughts, emotions, and experiences nourish your soul. Feel how your stomach relaxes as you release the habit of consuming what depletes you. Your intestines become teachers of intuitive knowing, helping you distinguish between what enhances your vitality and what diminishes your light. This is your body's intelligence awakening to its highest function. The blood flowing through your veins carries more than nutrients and oxygen. It carries the liquid memory of your ancestors' wisdom and the liquid potential of your descendants' dreams. Each red blood cell becomes a messenger of transformation, carrying new information to tissues that have been waiting lifetimes to remember their divine nature. Your circulatory system becomes a river of renewal, washing away cellular memories of unworthiness and infusing every part of you with the truth of your magnificence. Your muscles and bones are no longer just mechanical structures for movement and support, they become repositories of embodied wisdom. Feel how your spine straightens naturally as you remember your divine nature, how your shoulders broaden as you embrace your capacity to carry beauty into the world. Your skeleton becomes the sacred architecture that houses your expanding consciousness, strong enough to contain your growing power, flexible enough to dance with the mystery of becoming. Your endocrine system awakens as a network of quantum receivers, each gland attuned to different frequencies of cosmic intelligence. Your pineal gland opens like a flower to receive the subtle light of higher dimensions. Your thymus remembers its role as the seat of courage and self-love. Your adrenals shift from the chronic production of stress hormones to the steady secretion of vitality and resilience. This is your body remembering how to thrive rather than merely survive. Feel how your lymphatic system becomes a river of liquid light, carrying away the toxins of old thinking and bathing your cells in the nectar of renewal. This hidden network of vessels and nodes works tirelessly while you sleep, purifying not only your physical form, but also the energetic patterns that no longer align with your awakening consciousness. You are being cleansed from the inside out, prepared to embody even greater levels of light and love. Your reproductive organs, regardless of gender, become sacred centers of creative potential, not just for biological creation, but for the birthing of new realities, new possibilities, new expressions of your infinite nature. Feel how this creative energy rises through your being like sap in springtime trees, nourishing every aspect of your existence with the power to generate beauty, healing, and transformation. Your senses are expanding beyond their ordinary limitations. Your eyes are learning to see the subtle energies that surround all living things. Your ears are attuning to the celestial music that plays beneath the surface of everyday sounds. Your skin becomes a vast sensory organ, feeling the emotional currents that flow between hearts. Your tongue begins to taste the sweetness of presence itself. Your nose detects the fragrance of authenticity, helping you navigate toward what is truly nourishing. This is what it means to embody your quantum self, to live as conscious awareness expressing itself through the miraculous technology of your physical form. Your body becomes not a prison for your spirit, but a spacecraft designed to explore the infinite dimensions of existence. While anchored in the beauty of material reality, every cell becomes a conscious participant in your awakening, every system a collaborative partner in your evolution. As you drift deeper into sleep, feel how your dreams will continue this integration process. Your subconscious mind will weave together the threads of spirit and matter, consciousness and form, creating a seamless tapestry of embodied awakening. You awake tomorrow more fully inhabiting your body, more completely expressing your essential nature through your physical presence. Your body is no longer something you have, it is something you are. Not a vehicle you drive, but the very substance of your being organizing itself into the perfect expression of your unique consciousness. You are not a spiritual being having a human experience or a human being having a spiritual experience. You are consciousness itself, delighting in the adventure of expressing through the exquisite instrument of your physical form. Rest now in the profound recognition that every breath, every heartbeat, every cellular regeneration is a miracle of conscious creation. Your body is the universe's way of touching itself, of knowing itself, of loving itself through the irreplaceable gift of your individual perspective. You are not separate from the cosmos, you are the cosmos, temporarily focused into the gorgeous specificity of your unique embodiment. How does it feel to recognize your body as the universe's way of experiencing itself through your unique perspective? In this moment of deep relaxation, something extraordinary is occurring within you. Your heart and mind, those two powerful centers of intelligence that have so often seemed at odds with each other, are finding their natural rhythm, like the master musicians who have spent lifetimes learning to play in perfect harmony. Feel this synchronization beginning to emerge as your breath naturally slows and deepens, as the tension between thinking and feeling starts to dissolve into something far more graceful. For so long, you may have experienced these two aspects of yourself as opposing forces: your mind, with its logical analyses and protective strategies, pulling you toward what seems reasonable and safe; your heart, with its deep knowings and expansive dreams, calling you toward what feels true and alive. This internal tug of war has created a kind of static in your system like radio frequencies, interfering with each other, creating noise instead of clear signal. But tonight, as your nervous system settles into this state of profound rest, you can sense something shifting. The frantic pace of mental chatter begins to slow, matching the steady, rhythmic pulse of your heart. Your thoughts, instead of racing ahead with worry or circling back with regret, start to move in sync with the natural tide of your emotions. This is coherence, not the absence of complexity, but the presence of integration. Feel how your heart rate variability begins to smooth into gentle, wave-like patterns. Notice how your breath wants to deepen without effort, how your chest naturally opens, how your shoulders release tension you didn't even know you were carrying. This is your autonomic nervous system recognizing safety at the deepest level. Not just physical safety, but the profound security that comes when all parts of yourself are finally working together, instead of against each other. This coherence creates a powerful field of influence that extends far beyond your physical body, like ripples moving outward from a stone dropped into still water. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart-brain synchronization begins to affect the quantum field around you in ways that are both subtle and profound. You are literally becoming a different frequency, broadcasting a new signal into the universe. Your heart, you see, is not merely a pump for blood, it is a sophisticated electromagnetic generator, producing an electrical field approximately 60 times greater in amplitude than that of your brain. When your heart and mind achieve coherence, this field becomes coherent too, creating what researchers call a coherent electromagnetic signature that influences not only your own cellular function, but the environment around you. This is how internal alignment begins to shift external reality, not through force or manipulation, but through the natural magnetism of coherent energy. When you are internally integrated, when your thoughts and feelings are moving in the same direction, rather than pulling against each other, you begin to attract experiences and opportunities that match this new vibrational signature. You can sense this happening even now, can't you? As your heart and mind find their rhythm together, as the quantum flow of your being becomes more coherent, there is a subtle shift in the field around you. It's as if the universe itself is adjusting its response to you, recognizing this new frequency you are embodying and beginning to offer reflections that match this elevated state. This is not wishful thinking or spiritual fantasy. This is the natural result of becoming internally coherent. When your heart's wisdom and your mind's clarity finally begin to collaborate rather than compete, you become a more powerful creator, a more magnetic presence, a more aligned vessel for the life that wants to emerge through you. Your heart carries intelligence that your mind cannot access through logic alone, the intelligence of connection, of intuition, of knowing without needing proof. It feels into the future, senses possibilities, recognizes resonance and dissonance in ways that bypass rational analysis. Your heart knows things your mind is still trying to figure out, and your mind carries gifts that your heart needs: the ability to organize, to plan, to translate feeling into form, to create structure around inspiration. Your mind knows how to take the downloads your heart receives and transform them into actionable steps, practical strategies, concrete manifestations. When these two centers of intelligence work together, you become unstoppable, not in the aggressive, forcing way that burns out your nervous system, but in the flowing, natural way that feels like coming home to yourself. Your quantum frequency begins to stabilize at a higher octave, one that broadcasts worthiness instead of doubt, abundance instead of scarcity, love instead of fear. As you rest here in this state of growing coherence, you can feel how this integration is already changing you at the cellular level. Your immune system begins to function more efficiently, your hormonal balance starts to optimize. Your neural pathways begin to fire in new patterns that support expansion rather than contraction. But the changes go beyond the physical. In coherence, you start to make different choices that come not from the desperate scrambling of an unintegrated system, but from the clear knowing of a being who trusts both their analytical abilities and their intuitive guidance. You begin to say yes to opportunities that truly serve your growth and no to situations that drain your energy, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of clarity. People around you begin to respond differently too. When you are internally coherent, when your energy field is broadcasting integration rather than conflict, others feel safer in your presence. They sense, often unconsciously, that you are someone who has done the inner work to align your various parts, and this makes They're more likely to trust you, to open to you, to want to collaborate and co-create with you. This is how healing becomes contagious. This is how transformation ripples outward from the individual to the collective. When you achieve heart-mind coherence, you become a living demonstration of what integration looks like, and others feel permission to pursue their own alignment. Simply by being in your field, feel how this coherence wants to deepen as you continue to rest here. Notice how your system naturally knows how to sustain this state, how to breathe in ways that support it, how to soften in ways that allow it to flourish. This is not a peak experience that you have to strain to maintain. This is your natural state. When you stop interfering with your own wholeness, your heart and mind are remembering how to dance together, how to move as partners in the creation of your life rather than adversaries fighting for control. In this dance, your mind provides the structure and your heart provides the music. Your mind offers the map and your heart offers the compass. Your mind creates the container and your heart fills it with meaning. Tonight, as you prepare to surrender it into sleep, you carry this coherence with you into the realm of dreams, where integration can deepen even further. You rest knowing that every breath is weaving your heart and mind closer together. Every heartbeat is strengthening this alliance. Every moment of peace is solidifying this new way of being. What becomes possible when your heart's wisdom and your mind's clarity finally begin to collaborate rather than compete? What dreams might manifest when these two powerful aspects of yourself are finally moving in the same direction? Let this question carry you gently into rest, knowing that your coherent field will continue to work its magic even as you sleep. As sleep approaches, you can feel a presence to you that you are becoming, reaching back through time to guide this moment of transformation. This future version of yourself carries the frequency of all your dreams fulfilled, all your wounds healed, all your gifts fully expressed. Tonight, you begin to collapse the timeline between who you are and who you are becoming, allowing your quantum mind to integrate these frequencies into your present moment experience. Breathe into this knowing your future self is not a fantasy, it is a living reality, existing in the field of infinite possibility, waiting for you to align with its frequency. You can sense this presence even now, like a warm hand on your shoulder, a gentle whisper of encouragement, a knowing smile that says, you are closer than you think. Feel how your body responds to this connection. Your nervous system recognizes the truth of what you are sensing. That time is not the linear progression you once believed it to be, but a fluid dimension where all versions of yourself exist simultaneously. Your future self, radiant with confidence and embodied wisdom, is not separate from you. It is you, experienced from a different vantage point in the quantum field of consciousness. Notice the quality of energy that emanates from this future version of yourself. There is a settledness there, a deep knowing that everything you have ever worried about has been transformed into wisdom. The wounds that feel so present in your current experience have become the very sources of your future self's compassion and strength. The fears that grip you now have been alchemized into courage that flows like a river through your future self's being. Your future self breathes differently than you do now. Can you feel it? There is a spaciousness in that breath, an ease that comes from knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, when you need to be there. Your future self has learned the art of divine timing, of trusting the unfolding rather than forcing the becoming. This is quantum jumping in its most natural form, not a dramatic leap across realities, but a gentle attunement to the frequency of who you are already becoming. Your future self is not asking you to transform overnight. It is inviting you to notice the subtle ways you are already changing, already growing, already embodying the qualities you most desire to express. Feel how your future self moves through the world. There is a fluidity there, a grace that comes from no longer fighting against the current of life, but learning to dance with it. Your future self has discovered that resistance was the only thing creating struggle. That surrender was not defeat, but the doorway to effortless manifestation. Your future self loves differently than you love now. This love is not dependent on circumstances or behavior. It is the natural emanation of a heart that has learned to remain open, regardless of external conditions. Your future self loves from fullness rather than need, from choice rather than compulsion, from presence rather than projection. You can sense how your future self relates to challenges. What you currently experience as problems, your future self sees as opportunities for deeper embodiment of wisdom and compassion. What you now perceive as obstacles, your future self recognizes as the very experiences that forge the strength and resilience you will carry forward. As you rest here in this threshold space between waking and sleeping, allow yourself to receive The transmission your future self is offering, it is not information or advice, it is frequency, the actual vibration of living from a place of deep trust, radical self-acceptance, and unwavering faith in your own unfolding. Your future self has learned something profound that your current self is still discovering, that you were never meant to become someone different. You were always meant to become more fully yourself. All the healing, all the growth, all the transformation has been a process of remembering and embodying the truth of who you have always been beneath the layers of conditioning and protection. Feel how this understanding settles into your cells. Your future self is not superior to who you are now. It is simply you, with all the barriers to your natural essence dissolved. It is you with full permission to be authentic, to be vulnerable, to be magnificent in your own unique way. Your future self exists in a state of integrated wholeness. All the parts of yourself that you have judged or rejected have been welcomed home and woven into the tapestry of your complete being. Your sensitivity is honored as strength. Your vulnerability is celebrated as courage. Your unique quirks and qualities are recognized as the very gifts the world needs from you. Notice how your future self makes decisions. There is no agonizing, no second-guessing, no exhausting analysis of every option. Your future self has learned to trust the intelligence of intuition, to follow the compass of the heart, to move from a place of inner knowing rather than outer validation. Your future self has mastered the art of presence. It is no longer trapped in stories about the past or anxieties about the future. It exists fully in each moment, extracting the maximum aliveness and joy from whatever is being experienced right now. This presence is not a practice for your future self. It is a natural state of being. As sleep draws closer, you can feel the boundaries between your current self and your future self beginning to dissolve. This is not losing yourself. This is finding yourself more completely. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming more authentically you than you have ever been. Your future self is whispering to you now through the language of feeling, rather than words. It is transmitting the frequency of unwavering self-trust, of deep inner peace, of excitement about life that comes from knowing you are living in alignment with your soul's purpose. Your body is receiving this transmission, integrating it into your cellular memory, preparing you to wake tomorrow slightly more aligned with this future reality. Feel how your nervous system recognizes the truth of this connection. Your future self is not separate from you. It is the natural result of continuing to choose love over fear, growth over stagnation, authenticity over performance. Every moment you spend in alignment with your truth, you collapse the distance between your current and future self. Your future self exists in a state of effortless abundance, not because it has acquired more things, but because it has learned to receive the abundance that is always flowing. Your future self lives from gratitude, not as a practice, but as a natural response to recognizing the infinite gifts present in each moment. This connection with your future self is rewiring your brain in real time. Neural pathways that have fired in patterns of limitation and doubt are being replaced with new networks that pulse with possibility and self-trust. Your quantum mind is learning to operate from the assumption that your highest potential is not only possible, but inevitable. As consciousness prepares to fade into the healing darkness of sleep, your future self offers you one final gift, the knowing that you are already perfect exactly as you are, and you are also eternally growing into greater expressions of that perfection. Both truths exist simultaneously in the quantum field of your becoming. Tonight, as your body rests and your mind releases into sleep, your future self will continue to transmit its frequency into your dreams, into your cellular memory, into the very foundation of your being. You will wake tomorrow carrying more of this future reality in your bones, more of this truth in your heart, more of this possibility in your every breath. Rest now in the embrace of who you are becoming, knowing that the distance between your current and future self grows smaller with each conscious breath, each loving choice, each moment of authentic presence. You are arriving at yourself more completely with each passing day. And as sleep takes you into its gentle arms, let this question ripple through your being like a stone dropped into still water. What would change in your life if you truly believed that your future self is as real and present as your current self?